So what I think about Joe Pesci turning down Martin Scorsese's documentary on Apple TV and saying that he's not in that frame of mind and space anymore and that how he was. Excuse me. Um, I believe him. You know, it's called evolution. And sometimes people don't um stay in that particulars. The kind of personality he had to have to be in some of those movies was very mentally disturbed, very uh defiant, and a type of way that you want to distance yourself. It's not that you don't respect the opportunities. It's just that those characters sometimes they become parts that you don't identify with anymore. And so Joe Pesci has probably got into a place and space in his career time in his life now that doesn't really reflect the man he is. Some people have a hard time accepting that. They think that you're going to stay like that forever and a day. And you still got some people who will be in their 60s, 70s, 80s, still trying to put on that bodysuit that they wore when they was in their 30s and 40s and trying to recapture that hero again. And, some people are happy with that. Some people want to move from that. They don't want to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, night in and night out, because it gets boring and it becomes a point where it's only so much that you can do with that. You've been there, you done that, and it wears you out after a while. So, and I think that some people make a big deal that he wasn't in it. Um, there's different reasons, the different themes and parts of your life. Doesn't mean anything. Some people look into it to turn into something more, like they had a falling out or something. I just think that those were some dark characters he played. I was seeing Goodfellas and Raging Bull and Casino. So he had to play some low lives from back around the way to sell those characters. He started off as a singer, and I remember he had that album out back in the late '90s because he worked with uh I can't. Those cats have come to my mind. Tune and Pookie. Um, I can't think right now. Anyway, they were a production duo. They were really big once upon a time, and they had a string of hits. They worked with R. Kelly and Jay Z amongst others. And so, anyway, they did the oh well, I forgot the name of the record he was doing at the time, but he actually had a real music career, you know, and and so on and so forth. But anyway, sometimes you just get past, that you're not in that frame of mind anymore. You're no longer in that surface, and sometimes it's hard for people to accept that, to digest that. It's one of those things that you are not, um, part of where you are, and you need to, evolve from that. This thing is gonna bug me too, cause I'm gonna have to look on my computer when I do that, um, and I want to look it up too, cause I want to talk about them. And when I mention that, um, but it's just one of those things that you kind of like, you want to try to, what's it, Vincent Gambino, and let me see if I can get it, cause I want to get this thing, cause I remember when this record came out, and he wanted to be, lounge singer. I'm trying to see who it was on there. Um, he was playing a lounge singer, and I'm trying to make sure that I get it. Track Masters. That's who it was. See, I had to cheat. Forgive me for cheating, but I had to go do it because I was like, I am not going to not mention Track Masters, and they were huge back then too. So that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, he had that Vincent Gambino record. But anyway, the point of the matter is, he distances himself from projects. He did Home Alone. He done a lot of things. He was in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. And probably at this stage of his life and where he's at, and My Cousin Vinny, which was a big hit from Marissa Tomei, which he started, he had a lot of big hits in movies. Just probably doesn't really want to have to go down those lanes anymore. Some dark times and dark roads. Just because you play a character doesn't mean that you stay ensconced and that you with it. So anyway, I don't really look at it as a big deal. Him not wanting to be in Scorsese's documentary. I think they, if they have whatever mutual respects that situation, shouldn't get blown out of proportion. He made a choice, and that's what he chose to. So more power to him. Joe Pesci is one of the greatest actors of his generation. Martin Scorsese is one of the greatest directors, and sometimes your life goes in directions where you had a job, you probably been a job somewhere a long time. Maybe you don't go to company party, and maybe you don't want to relive it. Your best is what it was, and it is what it is, and it did what it did. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.